Welcome back to Julie's Wreath Boutique. I want to teach you how to make this wreath. I had a lot of fun making it, so let's get started. Okay, so we're going to make this wreath that has been very popular on Facebook, and what's kind of sad is that people are trying to sell this wreath. They took the picture from a wreath maker, and they took the wreath and then they try to sell the wreath on Facebook, and then you get a pillow. You get a picture of the wreath on a pillow, and it's just kind of sad. It's kind of, deceitful to say the least. So, but I found this sign. This is just a sign I purchased off of Etsy, and I really am happy with the way it turned out. It came in good time. And so I'm going to show you how to make just a Christmas wreath inspired by a wreath on Facebook that, mine won't exactly be the same, but just to kind of give you the confidence that you could make one too. So the link for this sign is in the description box below. Underneath this video, there's like this little arrow, and you'll see my name, and if you hit on that arrow going down, you'll see everything that from wreath supply lists to my social media to all my affiliate links that I have for different products. So what I would have suggested, okay, but I don't. Okay, explain to me. I know I'm being loud here. I bought this from the store. Okay, why wouldn't they give me the little, staplers to go in it? No staples, not even 5. So, and I had ordered some, but of course I can't find them now. So I'm going to have to save this for another time. But normally I would staple on, I would take a piece of wire, and I would recommend stapling on. These are smaller staples, okay? So they're not going to go all the way through. That would hurting the sign. So that's important. You don't want to use like a heavy duty one of these. So because I don't have that, what I am going to do is I'm just going to use my glue gun. This is a wreath for somebody who is going to be putting this inside. And so this will be just fine for that. So I'm just going to put some felt down. This is the Gorilla glue sticks that I like. They're in my Amazon shop. Need to grab another wire. Okay. And you can get all that stuff there. Anything that I work with, you'll find in my Amazon shop. And I'll probably put that in there too, because I thought, oh, I can't use it today. So I was really bummed out by that. So while that's drying, we are going to get on to the next part of our wreath. Okay, so the next part of our wreath is the actual base of this wreath. Now, the wreath, the inspiration wreath for this wreath, you don't see a lot of the mesh. This is just my take. I don't know exactly how they made the wreath, and that's okay. I'm just being inspired by the beautiful wreath, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just some mesh. Now, this is a special poly, I forget what it was called. It was like a poly, here. This is a cotton faux jute check mesh. Okay, you do not have to use this mesh. I got this at the wreath shop. I will leave links down below, but let me tell you what else you could use. You could also use just a red fabric mesh that's 10 inches. You could use red poly burlap if you have that. You could use the red and black check mesh, the fabric mesh. So you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. This is just like a suggestion. So you could use even deco mesh and do this as well. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cut the mesh first. Now with this particular mesh, I don't use my wood burner on it. Yes, it can be cut by wood burner, but it takes forever, and I just don't have the patience, and I really don't feel like it's going to make a difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these at about 15 inches long a piece. Now remember, this is the 10 and a half inch. 10 inch is what you're looking for. Rolls of whatever you want to use. So if you want to use deco mesh, fabric mesh, this faux cotton jute mesh, go right ahead. So now we're just going to take these, and as you can see, I've already put some on my wreath as I was getting ready, because I wanted to see, okay, how many will I need? I'm not really sure how many. Now this wreath form, you're going to say, Julie, what is that? This is kind of like a work wreath form, but with no work ties, and you could use the ties if you wanted to, but I don't have any of those. And I wanted to make this a little bit bigger than the normal Dollar Tree wreath. Okay, so a normal Dollar Tree wreath, Dollar Tree, not Dollar Tea, is about 14 inches in diameter. Okay, so this one is about 16, almost, yeah, 16 inches in diameter. So I just wanted a little bit bigger wreath. So use the Dollar Tree if that's all you have. I know that you can get 16-inch wreath forms from like Joann's and Hobby Lobby and Michael's. So there's other places you can pick up these forms. It doesn't have to look like this, like dome look. We're just using this because I wanted a little bit bigger wreath. So what are we going to do, Julie, after you've talked so much? Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to have the curl side up, and I'm going to grab a couple of these pipe cleaners. I'm going to use black. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to curl the, where we cut side, the unfinished side, I'm going to curl some under, okay? Because I'm going to just like curl it so that that hides that part. And then I'm going to just start kind of rolling and curling a little bit. And I'm going to curl this side under. And we're going to just do this. This is kind of like what I do for the snowman tutorial. So what I would do is I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and I'm just going to go and make a little poof. Okay, now if you had a work form wreath that had these sticking out, you could just do your roll and set it in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of stagger these, and we're just going to put enough on until it looks good. So I'm going to just go and I'm going to put it on. If you can see here, the black kind of gets in the way. All right, so I'm just wrapping it around these two bars. There's really no rhyme or reason for me here. I'm just wanting to make it full, okay? So let's do it again. You're going to take your unfinished and you're going to roll it under, okay? And so you're going to do the same thing on the top. So let's just go ahead and start that process, all right? Just roll it under, and then I'm going to keep rolling and keep gathering in the middle. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner, and yes, you could cut these down. For me, this is just easier. I have tendonitis in my hands right now. So when I work with the smaller, shorter stems, it's just harder for me. So yes, I will be wasting some of this, but that's okay. I can live with that. So at this point, I put it up at these two pieces or wires. So I'm going to put it on these two bottoms. So we're just going to kind of go back and forth here. Okay. And then I'm just going to tighten it. And basically, I'm just going to like push it together, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to go, so I did one here, and then I'm going to go do here. I'm going to go back and forth until this whole wreath is made. So I'm going to do that, and I'll come back and we'll start on the next step. Okay, so I've gotten this far, and before I finish it up, I want to show you a little trick to how I'm getting rid of the extra long stems after I've made my curls here. So basically what I do is I just go over the top here, and as you can see, I'm just going to twist it, okay? And all I'm going to do, I don't know, can you see this? I'm going to just kind of wrap it on one of the bars and take my wire cutters, and then it's done. So when you look at the back of this, you know, you can see it's pretty nice and tidy, and we don't have anything sticking out. Okay, so can you see how massive this guy is? Yes, he's big. This is going to be a big wreath. That's okay. I'm good with that being a big wreath. My customer was one, he has a pretty big area to fill, so that's all right. So what we're going to do now that we have this, and honestly, you could just, you know, put a big bow on this. You could put some battery operated lights in here, and you could just call it done. Put a different sign, whatever you want. And this could just make a beautiful base to a beautiful wreath. But so what we're going to do now is we're going to work on the ribbon bundles that are really going to fill up this wreath really nicely. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this aside. And we are going to get, yes, this is a huge thing of ribbon. If you were following my Instagram stories a few days ago, or even my Facebook page, I showed you this. Now, this is stuff that I got, ribbon that I got from the Wreath shop. It is 50 yards of the best. It's just the quality in this ribbon is just really nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this ribbon, and then the closest thing that I could find is some ribbon I had from last year from Walmart. Okay, so this is going to be 6 yards. I believe this is going to be enough. I don't know how much ribbon we're going to use. So whatever you do, you're going to want a lot of ribbon. So that's why I recommend this, because you know you're going to have enough there and it's going to last you quite a while. So what we're going to do is we are going to make 6-inch tails. So what do? I just will measure 6 inches here, and I'm going to gather, and I'm going to go back to here, and now I'm going to make an 8-inch loop. We're going to make 2 8-inch loops. All right, so we're going to just gather, and we're going to bring it in. And now I'm going to do another 8-inch loop. I'm going to gather and bring it in. I want to twist our tails here so that they are the right side. And then I'm going to cut 6 inches. Because I don't want to waste any of the ribbon, so it's about right there. So I'm getting my eye on that. So it doesn't have to be just exact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little chip clip, or like a, I don't know, you could take a little zip tie, but you'd be kind of wasting the zip tie, or like a little clothespin. So then I'm going to take my other ribbon and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Okay, and this is the good side, this is the bad side, but it's hard to tell. So I mean, even if I don't get it right, it's really not that big of a deal. We're going to have a 6-inch tail and then an 8-inch loop. So the loops will stick up a little bit, and we don't need to waste any of that ribbon. So again, another 8-inch loop. Bring it in, and then you're just going to cut your 6 inches here. Where is that at? About right there. Okay. So I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to lay it over top of where that chip clip was. And then I'm going to grab a pipe cleaner. You could use a white one, a black one, a beige one, whatever you want. We're going to use black. And I'm just going to go over top of that. And there might be a better way to do this. Maybe you make these type of wreaths. This is not a type of wreath that I make very often. So by no means am I an expert on this style of wreath. But I do like to show you guys some different things, and you know, I've been requested to do it, so hey, we're gonna give it a try. So I'm just gonna kind of make my ribbons go both ways here, so that when we put it on the wreath, it will just kind of go in opposite directions, because it's not really a bow, it's just like loops and tails. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dovetail all of them, which is I just fold it in half and cut a V out. And so right now I'm going to make 10 more of these. I want to say we're going to use about 11 to 12 of these. So I'm going to make all of these, and then I'm going to show you how to put them on your wreath. So hang on, we're getting there. Okay, so as you can tell, I've been busy. I have, let's see, 10 of these all together. I think 10 is going to be just enough. I kind of liked some of the mesh showing. So let's just move all these out of the way, and then I'm just going to show you how we're going to attach it. And then we'll attach the sign, and then we'll add all like the little greenery stuff that was on this wreath. So you're just going to take your little cluster of ribbons here, and you're going to find a spot where you can go down and just connect it to the frame. I'm just going to tie it to the frame. I'm not going to pull down too tightly because I don't want the ribbon to get lost in this mesh. So I'm not pulling this down really tight. I'm just twisting it, and then I'm just going to stick the wire back up, and I think that's pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this. I'm going to put my hand in the middle here. All right, and so that's where I'm going to put the next one. That's how I'm going to space these out. All right, so I'm going to add all of these, and we will be back for the next step. And you're just gonna play around with the ribbon so it's coming together. Okay, so before we move on to the next step, I want to show you how we're going to do the regular bow on this wreath. Now, I'm going to do a bow that I did in a bow video, about a month or so ago, and I call it the zip tie bow, and I just like the way it looks, and I think it'll complement this wreath really well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, I like to leave myself some room on the tails. So we're going to do about an 8-inch to a 10-inch tail here. Okay, so that's where we're going to start. So I'm going to do a 10-inch loop here. All right, so that's one. So that's a good loop. All right, so we're going to do another 10-inch loop. I'm going to get some more ribbon out of here. So basically I'm measuring where I secure it in the middle, and then I'm just measuring 10 inches on my mat here, and then I'm just going to gather and put it back in the middle here. So I've got 2 loops here. If you hear my elephants upstairs, you know what I'm talking about. Do you guys know who my elephants are? If you know who my elephants are, let me know in the comments, because I just think it's funny that we always have a herd of elephants in my videos. All right, so we're going to do another 10-inch loop. I'm trying to move this around so this is really simple for you guys to understand. We're just doing a simple bow. So 10 inches. I'm going to gather, and I'm going to bring back to the middle here. So that's one, and now we're going to do one more loop. And another 10 inches. Oh my goodness. Didn't know a 6-year-old could sound like an elephant. Okay. So, and then we're going to do another 10 inches, and we're just going to cut it. And I just knocked over some other stuff. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, I'm going to take a zip tie, and I'm just going to secure it right here, right now. Okay. So at this point, we're just going to take our complementary ribbon here. I'm going to set this aside. All right. We're going to work on this in a minute. I'm going to take our other ribbon that we've been using, and I'm down to the end of this roll. So we're going to take another 10-inch, about 10 inches here in the tail. Oh, that's more like 10 inches. And now we're going to do an 8-inch, because I don't want it to be quite as big as the other ribbon. And this ribbon is a little, it's hard for me to tell what is the right side. I think it's basically both the same. So if it's the same, you're good. If not, you're going to have to twist in the middle. And this is where you would twist. You would just twist it, okay? So that the right side is showing. All right. So I'm just going to do, let's see, do I have enough? Yes, I do have enough. Going to do another 8-inch here. I'm going to make another bow. Another 8-inch. Make another bow, another loop of my bows, I should say. Okay. And then do I have 10 inches? I do. I have just enough ribbon to make this. All right, we're going to cut it. And then we're going to take this, and I'm going to just kind of play with it. There's a little bit coming out there, but I'm just going to put it on top of the other bow. And then I'm going to take another zip tie, or you could even take a pipe cleaner, but I like my zip ties. I'm going to cut it now. So now let's look at our bow here. So we got our tails. I want to just kind of move it all around here. If you are on Facebook, I have a group called Wreath Creators and More, and I would love for you to join. The link for that group is in the comments below, or not the comments, but the description box below. So, and make sure you're following me on Instagram and Facebook, because I always do some fun things over there too. All right, so we've got that. So what are we going to do for this middle of this bow? I'm trying to think, do I want to just go like this, or do I want to go like this? I don't know. I'm thinking, I'm leaning more towards this. Hold on, I got an idea. Okay, so interrupt this program to change my mind. That's what I do. That's what creative people do. They change their mind in the middle of something, and that's okay. So instead of going with this, again, this was a Walmart ribbon I got last year. They're not carrying the same kind this year, sadly. So instead of putting more brown or beige on it, they had some coordinating red ribbon. So I'm going to use this ribbon. I don't like this little thing that they put in it because it kind of mars up the ribbon. Kind of a waste. I guess I could use that. Let's use that. Okay, let's see if that's big enough so we're not wasting it. So basically what you're going to do is you're just going to roll that in, and then that way it's going to give me a little pop of red in the middle. So what I'm going to do here is I don't have a wire or anything, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wire. I'm going to go underneath here. So what I'll do is actually I'm going to go underneath one of those zip ties. Okay, so next time when you do this, put a wire here. All right, okay, so I'm going to just take it and I'm going to pull it both directions there, and I'm going to take my wire and I'm just going to pull really good, and I'm going to twist it. All right, and I know my lighting probably changed in the video, but I had to move my camera angle up, so I apologize. I had set the camera angle and then realized, oh yeah, I need to make a bow. So here I am making the bow with a different lighting, but that's okay. You guys are great. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm just going to, you know, puff it up, or fluff it up, I should say. Okay. And then I'm going to just do some more dovetails. Since that's the theme of this wreath is our dovetails, we're going to keep doing that. Okay, so this is when the shot shows more of my table, so it's not going to be this, like, you know, nice little, oh, you just see Julie's mat shot, because, you know, we pretend that Julie has a nice, neat space, but we know Julie doesn't have a nice, neat space because it's hard. So anyways, so what I'm going to do is I took my sign. Again, if I'd had the stapler, I would just use the stapler. This is not going outside. This is going inside a house. So I'm not worried about the fact that we glued it on. So I'm just going to find a spot here. I'm going to stand up actually. And we're just going to make sure that this is right in the center of our wreath, just about. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over. Okay, so I flipped this over. So I'm going to find a spot here on this side. I want the wire in between that cross bracket so that my sign won't slide, okay? So I'm going to go and I'm going to slide this on this side. And I know there's probably an easier way. If you have an easier way, let me know in the comments. Would love to know. Okay, we're going to go on this side. And I don't have a cross bracket here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of put one of my pieces in the middle here. One of my ruffles, I guess I should say. I'm going to let that help that anchor, not anger, Julie, anchor. I'm going to just twist that good. And then I'm going to push that inside there. Okay, so let me flip this over. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. All right, so our ribbons got a little mushed. That's what happens. So now I'm going to take, and you're just going to go through and you're just going to play with the ribbons. And, you know, we just wanted to show. Now, the original wreath that this was really popular, the designer probably had a much smaller frame than I'm using, but I'm using a bigger frame because I wanted to. I'm showing more of the ruffle of the wreath because I just feel like that adds a lot to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bow here. Don't need green poly burlap. I don't know if you saw that in the shot, but some green poly burlap just came. And I'm just going to run this through, down through here. It's going to go below the sign. I'm not going to cover up the sign, but just below it, okay? All right, so I'm just going to, I've got my hand coming up through here. See my hand? Da, 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 da. Okay, so I got my hand and I'm just going to go on one side of my wreath frame and then on the other, so it's got somewhere to hold on to. Okay, so that's about as good as I want. I'm gonna just kind of see how I can pull it in. I just want to twist it. I'm twisting it like I would twist a bread container, you know, a loaf of bread, a twisty tie. All right, and then I'm just sticking the wire back up into the wreath because we want this bow to kind of pop out, okay? We don't want it to just kind of sit there. And it's still really hard to see the hole. It's just impossible for me to get this all in the frame. It's just massive. So this is going to be a big wreath. You're looking at almost a 26-inch in diameter wreath for a 16-inch wreath frame. If you use a 14-inch wreath frame, you're looking at about a 24-inch wreath. So if I was to do it again, I probably would just use the Dollar Tree frame, guys. I probably would, but I wanted a bigger wreath this time, and that's okay. So what I'm going to do is, in the original inspiration wreath, they use these little, well, they didn't really use these. They used more of a rounded holly or berry, and all I have are these, so we're going to use this. And then this is just Greenery from Hobby Lobby. And then I wanted to add a little bit of white here and there, so we're going to add these. I had a few of these on hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, and if you can get berries like this, you go ahead and use that. I just don't have enough of it, and so we're going to use this, and I'm just going to kind of pull them out. And honestly, I'm going to get out my hot glue gun, and I'm going to glue these in, because the wires, you could wrap some wires around this and then wrap it around the frame, but I just don't have the patience right now, maybe. But I don't think, but because this is going to be an indoor wreath, it really doesn't need it. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take little pieces of this, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue, and I'm just going to stick it down in where I think it would look really pretty. So we're just going to do the red first. So I'm just going to go all the way around the wreath and add little red pieces here and there. And I think that's good. You know, if this was going to be outside, if it was hot where you are, you know, you lucky people. I know some of you would probably say, well, I would really like to have snow during the winter. I get it. I get it. We just get a lot of it. That's all. And then I like how I can kind of bend that. Okay. So I'm going to do that one. And then what we'll do, let's see here. Let me get my greenery out here. What I'm going to do here is I kind of just move a piece up. Let me show you what I mean. So this is what, let's do this. Okay. So I just cut a piece of that. Okay, so this is what it normally looks like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this middle layer up so that it will have more greenery. And I'm going to cut that. I don't like, this looks a little too springy for me, so I'm going to cut that off. Save it for another project. And we're just going to do a little bit of these everywhere too. So a little bit more glue, and then I'm just going to kind of put it in there. And then, so you're just going to do, you know, a little here and there. And then I only have 3 of these white sprigs. I'm looking for my scissors. Okay. And I'm just going to take these and kind of, I'm going to cut them down a little bit so I can like get the most. I think I can get 6 of these out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut here, and then I'll have that to work with too. So I can get 2. So 6 of these should be enough too. So I'm just going to add, let's add one right there. Yeah, I'm going to get glue on my mat. I don't want to get glue on my mat. Okay. I'm just going to stick it in there. All right. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish this up and we'll be done, and it will be amazing. As you can see, I put all the greenery, all the berries in, the white sprigs, and I am really happy with the way this wreath turned out. If you made it this far in the video, first, do me a favor. Leave me your favorite Christmas emoji in the comment section below. Let me know if there's something you'd like to see this Christmas season. I have a lot of ideas, but I always like suggestions from you guys. And finally, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time in Julie's Wreath Boutique.